Okay, here we go. This is Raymond's essay on sciences in motion. Debate on the unity or plurality of the sciences is not merely academic. It directly affects the very conception of what science is, the validity of its principles, and how knowledge relates to reality. From the logical positivism of the Vienna Circle to contemporary projects of a theory of everything, or consilience, the aspiration towards epistemological unification appears. One that's disciplinary diversity. One that reduces disciplinary diversity to a single grammar or method against an aspiration. It is crucial to adopt a perspective that recognizes science as a set of categorical fields with their own coordinating principles, relative closures, and internal anomalies, affirming both the relative autonomy of each discipline and the impossibility of total reduction. The Vienna Circle articulated a proposal for the unification of the sciences based on two pillars: a unified scientific language founded on verifiable observational terms, and an empirical deductive method serving as a general criterion of validity. This epistemological monism presented itself as without metaphysics, insofar as it sought to eliminate all reference to unobservable entities or causes. Yet it contained a simplistic metaphysical assumption: the belief in an ontological unity of the world, susceptible to a single scientific description. Disciplinary diversity was thus interpreted as a mere deficit of translation, not as an expression of essential categorical differences. Ian Hacking has highlighted the distinction between epistemological and metaphysical monism, noting that the former tends to collapse into the latter when diversity is assumed to be superficial. John Dupree, for his part, has criticized microphysical imperialism, the tendency to consider physical mechanisms as ultimate explanations of social or cultural phenomena, ignoring the specificity of each domain. E.O. Wilson, in his project of conscience, exemplifies this tendency: the unification of all sciences under evolutionary biology and physics, a physicalist reductionism that disregards the categorical closures of higher level fields. Gustavo Bueno offers a clear alternative: science are categorical systems with their own closures. Their principles are material, gnoseological, and operative, not mere tautologies or universal truths. The coordinating principles are operative identities that articulate theorems and objects within a scientific field. They do not emerge as logical axioms, nor are they derivable from another discipline. In modern physics, quantum mechanics exemplifies a closed categorical science. Its structure is organized by principles such as superposition, uncertainty, linearity of evolution, and measurement postulates, which coordinate theorems and experimental results within a coherent system. Particle physics extends this scheme. Particles of symmetry engage invariance function as internal coordinators, structuring the interpretation of interactions, the emergence of particles, and the conservation of currents within the standard model. String theory, on the other hand, has not yet achieved categorical closure. It possesses coordinating principles such as supersymmetry and duality, but lacks consolidated set of empirical theorems which would qualify as a strict science. This illustrates the idea of science in motion, dynamic systems that admit internal anomalies, zones of tension or incompatibilities, none of which imply epistemological failure. According to Bueno, scientific principles are neither formal nor ontological. They are material, discovered within the field itself, and necessary for its intelligibility. In quantum physics, the principle of superposition is not a mathematical tautology, but a regularity observed in interference in coherent states. Gauge invariance organizes the standard model and is verified experimentally without being a formal axiom. The equivalence between the inertial and gravitational mass is not a metaphysical postulate, but a gnoseological principle structuring general relativity. Nor are they universal ontological truths. The principle of energy conservation or inertia applies within specific contexts, and their validity does not automatically extend to other fields. Thus, modern physics exemplifies the idea of multiple partially independent categorical closures connected, yet irreducible. Criticism of epistemological monism can be articulated on three levels. Epistemologically, normal reduction is unfeasible. The principles and terms of one discipline cannot be translated into another without loss. Experimental practice introduces reinterpretations and irreducible conceptual residues. Methodologically, imposing a single criterion of correctness would sacrifice the diversity necessary to address the proper objects of each discipline, distorting questions and results. Politically, monism privileges certain domains, such as the microphysical or computational, at the expense of others, configuring a physicalism with institutional and educational consequences that operate as a form of cognitive colonialism. Against this, the plurality of sciences does not imply incoherence. The only possible operational unity lies in articulating conceptual bridges and connections that respect each field's closures and principles. Without attempting a single theory that unifies everything ontologically, internal anomalies are signs of development, not failures. Science progresses by opening problems, reconfiguring closures, and generating emergent fields. This approach demands efforts of conceptual translation, institutions that promote disciplinary cooperation, and an epistemological humility that recognizes contextual and operational limits. The illusion of total convergence, Chileism, in cognitive terms, reflects a secularized millenarianism. I'm not even gonna try. I give up. Millenarianism. The promise of fusing all sciences lacks historical and methodological foundation. Sounds like you're having a stroke! Critical plurality, on the other hand, allows for realistic orientation in research, science, policy, and education, fostering respect, interdisciplinarity, and the formation of professionals capable of translating and articulating diverse categorical systems. Ultimately, the unity of knowledge is not a precondition of rigorous thought, but a problem to be solved operatively. The evidence supports Bueno's suspicion. The sciences constitute systems with irreducible closures and internal coherence, whose articulation occurs through operative connections, not ontological fusion. epistemological monism functions as a chileistic forecast, promising a cognitive redemption unjustified by history or methodology. The only real unity possible is modest, operational, and honest. Consists in articulating networks of interaction among closed fields, distinguishing and translating rigorously without mistaking such connections for ontological fusion. This kind of unity yields science that works, and that resists the chileistic temptation of absolute knowledge. Don't bring them all into one, because chemistry, biology, physics, sociology, economics, politics, they're all separate systems with their own separate sciences. There's no one defining science of the universe, right? So it's true, maybe that should be applied in the same way to something as simple as the separation between something like quantum mechanics and general relativity. That maybe there is no one unifying thing, and just it's two sides of the same coin. Not yet, anyway. The theory of all has yet to be discovered. Well, I'm just saying, Sean, there's always the possibility that there isn't a theory of everything. That the theory of everything is actually realizing that it's each theory in and of itself, each science in and of itself is only a piece of the puzzle. And there's no way you can see the entire picture through a single piece. That's like how I think about it, right? So focusing too much on that singular everything, I think, is actually a step backwards in science, not forwards. Because you don't want to find something. You want to do something and discover something, right? Like, we're almost like playing science backwards, trying to find a theory of everything. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen organically through the expression of something. And a realization someone's gonna have. Has to be a science, covers everything, but we poor mortals aren't smart enough to comprehend it. Only AI could potentially discover and understand that. Searching for a theory of everything can be like looking for God using science. Yup. You're both absolutely 100% right. But it's a wonderful thought experiment, right? And that's what we love to do. Alright. Now, finally, are you guys ready?